Hello and welcome. This says it's a live stream, so I'm a little concerned right now. But hopefully it's not a live stream. Welcome back to Visiting Dugout. I'm Chrystal O'Keefe. I am losing my mind. I have my incredible friend and friend of Southside Sox, Tommy Barbee, on. We're going to talk about the Braves. Um, yeah, man, what a season. Welcome back, Tommy. Mhm. I mean, the Guardians aren't great.
No, they're not.
The White
Um,
Sox were just swept by the Royals.
yeah, who also aren't great.
Mm-mm. But maybe
Um,
a contender at least, maybe.
true, true. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone was very surprised that really the games weren't even that close. Like I know the last game was close, but Atlanta's just been struggling in every facet. So small victories are really all we're looking for right now.
And what a team to face, the White Sox,
Yes,
where you might get your stride back.
we'll see. Um,
Maybe.
you've got, there's a lot of former White Sox on the Atlanta roster right now. I don't know why. That's a weird strategy to take, but that seems to be the one that they've taken this year.
Is Aaron Bummer still there?
Bummer's still there.
Bummer's still there.
You got Erick
ReyLo?
Fedde is
Oh, that's right.
with them now. You've got um oh, they just traded for him. Dane Dunning is back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a weird time, and that doesn't even include, the injury list of Chrystal and all of everybody that's hurt, frankly, for the Braves. Because I think if you took their injured reserve list as a rotation, it would be better than the actual rotation for the team right now.
Why do they want, and I don't want to say that these were all bad pitchers. Obviously Eric Fedde is having a rough
He's
go and Aaron
not
Bummer
great.
is Aaron Bummer.
Yeah,
Um but like why do they want all these former White Sox pitchers? Because get Dane, I forgot. They did just get Dane Dunning.
they
I
got
was
Dane
mad.
Dunning. Yeah,
I wanted him to go anywhere else, I think.
yeah.
Like back to the White Sox.
They got Dane Dunning. They, made that move for Chris Sale, even though knowing that he was on borrowed time anyway, so like his injury wasn't a surprise. Um, you could say that they overspent for Ronaldo Lopez, and now he's also on the 60 ADL. I think the team as a whole is in a really interesting place, especially when you look at the fact that they sort of announced that Snitker is going to retire at the end of the year. Um, the rumor mill is that Buck Showalter is taking over, which I have a lot of feelings about, as I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
um, that hire aside, it feels like the window closed faster than Atlanta anticipated, and you have just these weird group of veterans that all I thought should have been traded at the deadline just to get the youth movement in full swing because I don't think there's a lot to compete for right now with a lot of those guys that are on the team. But at the same time, the veterans that they do have don't have a ton of value. So I think they're just in this mindset of, especially if they are serious about hiring and bringing on Showalter, maybe give it another shot next year, assuming a healthy team, and see what happens.
So if Buck takes over, he's been away for a while. He's been away for
God help
baseball
us
for a
all.
while.
Yes, yes.
Um, R.A.P. Buck Showalter. You're not dead, but dead to me.
Yeah.
Um, does Francisco Lindor's daughters bully him, and then he moves to Atlanta because they love Grandpa Buck
They
more than
do.
anything in this
They do.
world?
That's true. That would be like the only silver lining, I think, to Buck Showalter being the manager, because otherwise, like, I'm not even exaggerating. It would not be far off from like the Tony La Russa White Sox hire.
Yeah, and the word, but I mean, at least Buck is likable, whereas
True.
Tony La Russa,
And
we just,
incompetent. Like, it's not like
yeah.
he's a bad manager. It's just that I don't like there have already been issues in the Atlanta clubhouse in terms of culture clashes between
Mhm.
all of the young players and Snitker kind of being like a very old school kind of guy. Buck Showalter is that and then some.
Mhm.
So I just don't understand that direction given you have a bunch of players, including rookies now, because Hurston Waldrop is up on the team now, and you'll get to see him against the White Sox. You've got really young guys on this team that, sure, they could benefit from that type of veteran leadership, but it's also a matter of making sure that you're creating a culture that can withstand the next 5, 10 years.
Interesting.
I told you it's a wild time in Atlanta right now.
Oh man, and then and they just add that to like the inherent racism and bringing in a very old white guy. That
Yeah.
just sounds like a disaster. Like full on. Maybe no. No, I still think Tony La Russa was the biggest mistake.
Oh yeah, it's not. I don't think it will be that bad just because this season has been so terrible.
Yeah.
But it's not. It doesn't make sense, honestly. But yeah, you're coming in on a really interesting time, just based on the fact that Atlanta's been doing well. The young players have all had to step up because literally everybody else is hurt in Atlanta right now. Um, Spencer Strider, I know, is opening the series for Atlanta. He is still one of my favorite pitchers, but just has not been the same this year, coming back from injury. Still has his stuff, but makes a lot of mistakes up. So he's been a lot more prone to giving up home runs than before. Bryce Elder is really just somebody that Atlanta should have gotten rid of when they had the chance to. Um, that was one of the reasons why fans were really pushing for another starter in Atlanta, knowing that Bryce Elder was not going to be the guy, and he just has not been very good at all this season. And then, closing it out with Hurston Waldrop, who was actually drafted in the first round just a couple of years ago. He was one that, interestingly, I was on the live stream for Southside Sox the year that he was drafted, and that was the year that the White Sox took Jacob Gonzalez at 14, and
Mm-hmm.
Waldrop fell to 24 to get drafted by Atlanta. So not only did they pay $1 million less to sign him, but he's in the majors, and I believe Jacob Gonzalez is still like struggling somewhere in one of the mid tiers of the minors.
Yeah. No clue where he is these days. Um, Going back to the trade deadline,
Yeah.
we mentioned Dunning gets picked up, but did the Braves, I don't even really want to say they do
Did they do
enough.
anything? Or
Yeah, like did they do anything aside from Dane Dunning, who I
no?
love, and I am still, I love Lance Lynn to death. I
Yeah.
do truly, genuinely love Lance Lynn to death. I am still pissed off about losing Dane Dunning for what, 3 years of Lance Lynn.
Yeah,
Still
I
mad, like
don't
still really bitter in my heart.
don't blame you because I still think that Dane Dunning had, if he had stayed in Chicago, I think he would have been a pretty decent starter for the
Yeah,
White Sox. Yeah.
yeah. So did they do anything outside of grabbing, like stealing Dane Dunning away from another racist team?
Um, it was all very weird acquisitions of relievers. So they got, well, I mean, they got Carlos Carrasco, who I know technically can start, but he's really more of a swingman still and has
Yeah.
been that for a while. Then they also acquired Tyler Kinley from Colorado, who's another reliever that is, you know, fine, but it's not like the Braves are. Once again, like, what are the Braves doing? They are acquiring relievers as though that is the missing piece for them this year, and I would say that they have a lot more holes than that. So you look at those two, and then you add in Dane Dunning, and then once again Erick Fedde, who has not been good at all since being traded away by the White Sox. And I mean, in retrospect, I think that's probably one of the better trades that Getz has made.
Yeah.
I, yes, they bought at the trade deadline, but I don't really know what benefit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, coming from my Mets lens, I was kind of already tired of Cookie. Um, like I wanted him gone from the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting that he came in, although I did see they just beat the Mets recently and he
Yeah.
came in
Yep.
to help with that. Rude, honestly. But yeah, I don't quite understand any of the moves they made. But
No. And I mean, it's the whole team has just been in this really weird limbo of just like, you know, are they convinced that they can do something next year? Do they think they have an outside chance this year? I mean, it's not unheard of. You look at what's happening with the Brewers right now. The Braves are 9-1 in the last 10 games, so like it's not impossible. It would
Mhm.
just take a lot of things to happen for them to stand a chance.
So are you saying you're not feeling great about this season for the Braves?
No,
Do you
not at all.
dead in the water?
I think this season ended probably in June, if not earlier.
I was gonna say, I feel like when ReyLo went down
Went
this
down.
season,
It was pretty much it. Yeah.
yeah, he was kind of like the shining light, and then boom, injury.
Hmm.
He's the shining light of my life anyway.
Yeah.
So for him to go down, it's just like, oh well,
Might as well pack it in.
we're dead. We're
Yeah.
done here.
It was yeah, when he went down and when Schwellenbach went down, those were the two big ones to me because Spencer Schwellenbach, who is another one of their up and coming starters, was phenomenal this season and really took on the weight from everybody else that was hurt and then also found himself on the 60-day DL and won't be back this season. So it's just like you have all of these guys that you have to hope not only will they come back even close to being as good as they were this year, but then you have to hope that everyone else shows up playing at a higher level than what they've played this season. So it just seems like a tall task to expect that next year.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna take a quick little break to pay bills, and we're gonna come back and I wanna I wanna dig deeper into this pitching matchup. Okay, that was probably long enough for a commercial. So
Which
we
pitching
touched,
matchup intrigues you the most? Because I know it's a hot mess.
yeah, we talked. I mean, you kind of broke down what we're seeing just a little bit earlier, but
Hmm.
we've so for the first game, we have somebody who came up from the minors from the Yankees that is not any good. Um, Second day we have Shane Smith for the White Sox. Whatever. I don't care. I'm so dead inside. And then Aaron Savali for the closer of
Yep.
this game. And then on the Braves, we see Spencer Strider, Bryce Elder, and Hurston, which he seems fine, but what the hell is going on with Spencer Strider? Like real talk, what's his deal right now?
It is. It's really that, like I said, his stuff for the most part is there. He's
Hmm.
missing a lot of pitches up, and it's for his velocity is not probably going to be at that same level that it was before. Like, you're not going to see 99, 98 consistently, but it used to have like that beautiful snap to all of his
Hmm.
pitches where they all just looked like sinkers where they would just fall off the table. And he hasn't been getting that consistently this season, where it goes from what looks to be an impossible to hit pitch to something that guys have been able to get enough of and do damage with, that he isn't able to find that type of rhythm. And it doesn't help that the Braves are terrible on offense this season. Like, that
Right.
if you give up 3 or 4 runs, you're probably taking the loss for that game. So I think it's the combination of just kind of the pressure that he has put on himself to really find that old rhythm that he had. But it's really it doesn't look good because you're now going back now to 2023 when he was last dominant, and
Yeah.
it's feeling further and further away. And I would hate for him to be one of those what if type of pitchers because he has such great stuff, but that's certainly a possibility.
Yeah, anytime I see anytime I see like this Spencer Strider downfall, this is just my brain going back to Jacob deGrom,
Yeah, yeah.
where he had always kind of, well, not so much, right now he's great.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking like he is back to vintage deGrom,
Yep.
which is all I've ever wanted in life is vintage deGrom back. But he became such a what if for the longest time because he was
Absolutely.
injured, and I agree. I think that Spencer Strider is kind of heading down that path. But I mean, from the looks of it, people are still swinging at his pitches. He's got 100
Yeah.
strikeouts, but he's 5-10, and he has a not so nice ERA of 4.69.
No. And
So,
his whip is terrible too. Like, I mean,
yeah,
it's not even just like bad luck. It is consistent hits that he's giving up right and left, and a lot of situations where it's 1 or 2 bad innings, and that's all it takes.
and yeah, that's all. Yeah. So, do you think the Sox have a chance of winning that game? Because again, the Braves are going to see Gomez, who has been in he came from the Yankees. He's been
Yeah,
in the minor leagues all season. So, like, they're going to make him look like Cy Young candidate because that's typically how that does work out. And thankfully, like, it works out in my favor for this specific game. But
he pitched well against Detroit though.
he did. But the time that's another wild
Wild, I know. Yeah.
tailspin of a season. Like, what on earth?
Um,
I have a Tigers visiting dugout coming up in a few weeks, and I'm just gonna be like, what the fuck happened,
I
dude?
please do ask that question because
I
I
will.
am very curious on like what they did during the All-Star break that made the entire team go through a slump, because I think they must have gone to the same parties that like the Cubs went to, and
My
both
God.
teams have just gone into a true second half slump that I haven't really seen.
It's those parties in Northwest Indiana.
Yeah, that's
Those
true.
parties that Juan Moncada was going to. It's the same parties, man. They're so close. They're both so close.
But yeah, I
How
mean,
is that?
I think there's a shot for the White Sox in the first game against Strider. I really do. Because the Sox have been really a lot better at not swinging at everything. And I think that if they make Strider throw strikes and like commit to the strike zone, it'll be interesting because like I if he's on, that's one thing, and you're just gonna have to accept like it's gonna be that type of day where it's either he throws practically a no hitter, strikes out 10, wins the game, or he's out by the fourth or fifth inning because he can't throw the ball over the plate.
Should he maybe skip leg day for a bit and
Never.
focus more
He's got to
on
do
arm
the
strength?
Robbie Ray. I'm practically ripping through my pants. Look.
It doesn't look as good on Strider. Robbie pulls it off way better. I think
You
it's
don't
just a
think so?
preference. I think it's a. I don't know. I don't like the way Spencer Strider is built. I prefer a Robbie Ray
The
build.
Robbie Ray build? Okay.
Um,
Yeah, Spencer Strider
Spencer's
is more of like the down home, southern version of the Robbie Ray aesthetic.
he kind of freaks me out. If I'm being completely honest,
Does
the way
he?
he looks is concerning to me.
Okay. He's
Um,
funny to me because he actually reminds me a lot of oh, now I'm blanking on his name, the Royals pitcher. Um that was famously very antisocial.
oh, oh! I know exactly who you're talking about, and it's gone for
Um
me now too.
this is driving me nuts.
I know. Royals pitching. We're gonna live Google. Oh my goodness. Man, this is a bad time because I'm brain dead. You know what? If you know who we're talking about, just
I
type it in the comment section.
I cannot believe I'm blanking on his name.
I know I can't either,
Zach
but it's
Greinke.
driving me.
There we go.
Oh, yes. Okay. Okay. Yes. I'm pretty sure. I don't know that he's antisocial. I think it's just autism.
It's both, but
It's
it is because I mean it's definitely he has really gone public about like his struggles with anxiety. But the reason why
yeah.
I brought it up is that Spencer Strider has had very similar comments in the press, and he's somebody that I just think it's so interesting because he talked about like how he loves to pitch on the road because nobody pays him any attention and he's just able to go out and do his job. And it just is so Grinky-esque in the way that he
Yeah.
talks about not wanting to be bothered, just like going to pitch and then being left alone and like doing his own quirky things. And so I appreciate him for that because like there's a lot of weirdness on the Atlanta Braves roster, as you know. He's
Hmm.
one of the few that I'm like, okay, I kind of like you.
Do you remember? Well, and I have no issues with Strider. I
No, I
just
know.
don't
Yeah,
like the way he looks.
yeah, that's
It's
fair.
an issue for me.
I'm just saying I
Um,
think I'm biased for that reason, but yeah.
yeah, no. But do you remember the? I mean, it's hard to pinpoint the ridiculous that comes out of RFK Jr.'s mouth, but the whole conversation about how like people with autism will never play a
Yes,
sport,
yes.
and I probably sent you like 7 TikToks in a row once of this,
Hmm.
but it was like all pictures clearly
Clearly
autistic in the
autistic.
dugout,
Yes.
like
Hmm.
playing in the dirt
Yep.
and painful interviews with
Hmm.
them. And
Hmm.
I was, yeah, Grinky is
Yeah,
one of those pitchers where I'm just like, no, have you watched him? Have
absolutely.
you seen Dylan Cease recently?
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
come on,
yeah.
it's
Let's be
very,
real
very
here.
real.
Exactly.
They're playing and making millions of dollars every year. Good for them.
So yeah,
Um,
I do think that the White Sox have a very realistic chance just based on how things are going. And honestly, that game may very well set the tone for the rest of the series because, as evidenced by the fact that the Braves were trading for random weirdos to come out of the bullpen, they don't
mhm.
have a great bullpen either. So if you get to the bullpen in the first game, that's going to have a carryover effect too.
Sure. I mean, as long as I never ever have to see Steven Wilson in this series, I'll be fine. Because otherwise, the White Sox bullpen is not terrible. It's honestly, I usually feel comfortable with it,
It's not
except for today with
bad.
Steven
It's
Wilson giving up
just,
6 runs.
yeah. I think my issue with the White Sox bullpen is that none of the starters are good enough to warrant the bullpen that they have. Like, I agree. Like, they haven't done a terrible job, and I actually think that might be credit to the manager, as weird as that is to say right now, given how the season is just going in general. But I think that he has managed to put guys in situations where they can be successful and have a routine and like some sense of comfort, because we've talked about this a lot. Like over the last few years with the White Sox in particular, you never knew when guys were coming out to pitch or what situation they were going to be thrown in. And it often felt like it was a wheel that was being spun and just whatever it landed on, that's who was going in.
I'm actually a big Will Venable stan, and I will admit that. I will be open about this.
I like him. It's there's no pressure right now, and that's
Yeah,
why I'm trying not to be too optimistic about Will Venable, but he's doing a great job so far, for sure.
I like his vibes.
Yeah.
Um, all right, moving away from this train wreck of pitching. Um, which so and maybe I try not to pay attention to the Braves just for my own health. I don't like them, but which player do you feel like might be the biggest threat to the White Sox?
I I mean,
This isn't a positive answer.
like I could say Acuna because it's Acuna, but he hasn't been that great recently. Um,
In my notes, I'm putting Acuna question mark.
Yeah, I mean, like I could see it being somebody like Matt Olson, who just is consistent enough that he's just ends up being a huge pain in the ass for the White Sox, but
Sure,
I'll go with Matt Olson is my answer.
probably better.
But yeah, I don't this is what's weird about the Atlanta roster this year is like you know all of the names and you expect them to be far more of a threat than they actually have been.
Yeah. Um, so the keys for them to taking this series, because I honestly I think it would be hilarious if they got swept by the White Sox right now, especially since the White Sox have
I
lost like
think it's
almost
a
every single game
very
lately.
real thing that could happen. Um, and it wouldn't surprise me because what I could envision happening is that in all three of the pitching matchups that none of the Brave starters go deep enough to be impactful, and that the White Sox pitched just well enough to limit the damage.
Hmm.
And, the White Sox, they're a scrappy team. They
Yeah.
do all the little things. And that is everything that Atlanta has not been good at this year. Like, they have made errors when you really don't think there's any business to have an error. They have given up walks or hits when it's like the worst situation to do that. Everything that could go wrong has often gone wrong, and the White Sox are a team that kind of thrives on that.
Yeah, they do. Right now the White Sox they just got Chase back. Chase, his plate discipline, honestly great. I can't
Yes,
really complain about him. Colson Montgomery has been a
phenomenal.
joy.
Yeah.
And then one of our newest writers just wrote a great piece about Lenine Sosa, who
Hmm.
has just been on fire. Edgar Cuero even got a home run
Yeah.
today. He's been good. So they have these weird scrappy pieces, like you
Hmm.
just said. And then we go back up to this pitching matchup. Shane Smith is fine. He's
Yeah.
not horrible. I wish he could go longer. I wish he could do more. But at the end of the day,
He's serviceable.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be like, oh, I hate this guy and not
Hmm.
watch the game. And with Savali, he had a really good few games and then
Hmm.
he had really bad games
Yep.
and maybe he'll by this point might be back into that good because again, he's one of those veterans where if he's got a bad game, yeah, whatever, it happens.
Hmm.
But you also kind of expect him to be a better pitcher, and sometimes he is. Sometimes he's great, which
Yeah.
is really weird when he is. But yeah, they do. I mean, they can take advantage of a down on their luck team very easily
Absolutely.
with all of the as weird to say it, with all of the good on this White Sox team right now, they can very easily take advantage of a bad team.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, everything that we talked about with Spencer Strider, multiply it by 10 when you're talking about Bryce Elder. Like, he is just like nowhere near what the Braves thought they had when they first drafted him and when he first came out. It has been a very steady, direct decline. And honestly, I think if they were not so badly hurt and desperate for pitching, he wouldn't even be in the rotation right now. Like, that's just how bad things are for him. And Hurston Waldrop is, great pitcher, but he's a rookie. So like
Yeah.
you're not gonna see him for longer than maybe 5 or 6 innings because they don't want to push him too hard just yet. So once again, with the Braves bullpen, that's another opportunity where I could see it being, it goes into a 2-2 ball game and the bullpen comes in, it's Bummer or somebody else, and the White Sox tear the game open.
And he's seeing a vet
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
who can go six, who
yeah.
can maybe go seven. I mean, if he's having a decent day,
Hmm.
and he's kind of being really economical with his pitches, he can go a lot deeper than, a Shane Smith can.
I like Savali a lot, and I still think that he has a lot that he wants to prove after
Hmm.
getting kind of dumped for like for really just kind of speaking out about not
Yeah.
wanting to go to the bullpen, and I get that, but he is the kind of pitcher that I would say is similar to some of the other vets that the White Sox have gotten in the recent past, where it's are these guys that are on like prove it type of contracts where they'll either put themselves in an opportunity to make money in free agency or get traded to a team that will spend to keep them. And I think that's the type of situation that the White Sox need to have. So I'm excited to see how he does in the second half.
Agree. Should be interesting. Um, so we kind of already just addressed the fears in that, to be honest. Let's go back to what can the Braves do to win any of these games in this series?
Yeah, I mean, everything that I said could go wrong could also go well for them. That is why their record is what it is, because they just lack the consistency. But, there's still a lot of guys on that team that can and should hit. They have, I would say, 4 or 5 guys that should be a heck of a lot better than what they've shown, and can be a really strong force against this White Sox pitching matchup. So I think it's entirely possible that Spencer Strider gets a good start, that Waldrop gets a good start. I don't see them sweeping, but I see them at least getting 2 out of 3.
That's fair. So let's move away from this train wreck
Yeah.
and talk about the other train wrecks in Major League Baseball. This is obviously where I like to open up the floor to you and what's going on in your world and your lens of baseball. So, how are you feeling about other teams that aren't these two bad teams?
It's been a very interesting season, and it kind of going back to what we were talking about before with just like the teams that are struggling in the second half. You look at the Yankees, you look at the Mets, you look at the Cubs, you look at the a lot of these teams that started off strong, even the Tigers, and have either fallen off a little bit or have fallen off a cliff altogether, and just even if you talk about regression to the means, Like, none of these teams should be doing this badly against genuinely mediocre teams. Like, we're
Mhm.
making other teams look good right now, and that's been very interesting to me.
It just reminds me of Space Jam, and I feel like I made this joke probably somewhere, maybe just to myself, because I think I'm the funniest person alive. But like the White Sox came out of, the All-Star break
Mm-hmm.
and were really good
Mm-hmm.
out of nowhere. And I
Yep.
was like, they drank the Monstars
Yep.
juice.
Yep.
What happened? Who did they take it from? And then I see the Tigers are like just totally shitting the bed.
Holding on to dear life. Yeah.
Still up there.
Yeah.
They're still gonna make it, but like woof, what
Mm-hmm.
happened? And then my life is pain as a White Sox and Mets fan. And I'm seeing this and I'm just like, Pete Alonso, you are the only person that is keeping me sane right now because I mean, he did just break Darryl Strawberry's
Yep.
record.
Yep.
He is now the
The
Mets
all
home
time.
run leader.
Yeah.
We love him.
Yep.
But I was like, Peter Morgan Alonso, I need you to have a team meeting with your friends and figure this out because I'm going insane.
Yeah.
Please find that Monstars juice
It
and get back into it.
doesn't make sense to me. And it's just like there's a lot of teams that have kind of fallen into this weird space, and I think what I'm interested in as like a overall baseball viewer is what team, like, let's say at the end of August, is going to be that random team that's like on the fringes right now that's going to get hot enough to start entering the playoff conversation, whether it's, the Reds or one of these other teams that's kind of there but not quite, and what that's going to look like. Because I think that, yes, the Milwaukee Brewers story is great. I just don't think they're going to keep up this pace for the
Right.
rest of the season. Like, that would be an unheard of run, which they certainly could do, but I would be shocked if they do. So I think there's going to be another team that's kind of making a run. It'll be interesting to see who that is.
Are the Brewers cheating? What are they doing?
I think it is the euchre magic is
Mm-mm.
just in
I mean,
full
I'm
force
for
tonight.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
If I have to pick a team in that division, it's
I'm fine
probably,
with it
I
being the
mean,
Brewers. Yeah,
the Pirates are so bad. The
yeah.
Reds historically aren't great.
No,
So if I have to pick, it's definitely not going to be the Cardinals or the Cubs.
no. And it's also just like the Cubs are asking for it. Like,
Yeah.
you knew they had to get a starter going into the second half of the year. And just
Mhm.
to not do it again doesn't make any sense. Um, I will say I almost feel bad for the Cubs because it kind of feels like they got Kyle Tucker for no reason,
Yeah.
and that just kind of was a waste. But haha.
For me, I'm happy because I hate Pete Crow Armstrong so
Do
much.
you?
I
Why?
do.
Oh, we have to
It's just
talk about this because I love Pete Crow Armstrong.
he's just he reminds me so much of Farkas um in A Christmas Story. And I mean I hate Farkas. You can't like him. He's an asshole.
True,
And
yeah.
I feel like everyone's like, PCA, he's so good. All he does is homer. And I'm like, you know what? No, he's kind of a douche. And he's really cocky for a team that's not that good right now.
Oh yeah, he's cocky, but he's I do like him a lot. Like, he's one of the few players that I just like the minute I watched him, because I was interested to see what team would draft him because I had
Right.
heard a lot of great things and saw enough that I was like, all right, this could be a fun player to watch. Sort of that Bobby Witt Jr. vein, but he's so much fun.
Well, see, my husband disagrees with me. He would agree with you. He thinks he's like neat, I guess. And I'm just like, whatever, man. I'm
And
sick
then
of him already.
not even like his whole like thing at the All-Star game when he was just like, just be yourself, and even if that's weird, like that's okay, just embrace it. You didn't like that?
No.
Okay.
Another train of thought that I've completely spaced
Oh, I'm
now.
sorry. I didn't mean to derail us with
No, it's
PCA, but
okay. It was just, oh no, I was gonna again mention the Cubs
no,
because
yeah.
you and we are very nerdy people.
Mhm.
How do you feel about Hayden Christensen throwing out the first pitch for the Cubs in a number 66
66. I
jersey?
know. Yeah, that was a choice, wasn't it?
For those of you who had normal high school and college experiences, um, Hayden Christensen, spoiler alert, plays Anakin Skywalker, who, spoiler alert, turns into Darth Vader, and he also kills a bunch of kids and orders an
An
execution
execution. Yeah.
going by 66. Um, so for me, who can't be normal about that entire thing, was losing my mind. And then it happened to be the Air and Water show in Chicago
That's where I
over
thought you
the
were going with
weekend.
it. Yeah.
So during the seventh inning stretch, like a sound like a fighter jet goes
Hmm.
over, freaks everybody out at the Cubs game. But Hayden, it's almost like he knew it was going to happen because he is cracking
He's
up
just
during the
smirking
stretch.
and
His
cracking
daughter
up.
is in there with him
Yep.
singing. He is laughing hysterically
Yep.
during the seventh inning stretch as this like freaks everybody else out, despite, them all living in Chicago. Well, no, most Cubs fans don't live in
They
Chicago.
don't live, no. They probably
But
weren't even aware that it was the Air and Water show.
yeah, can't be normal about that moment.
Yeah,
I
that
just
was a
couldn't.
weird, weird thing.
I saw it and my husband sitting on the floor playing with the dog, and I was like, I just I need to talk about something with you. And I think he was like for a moment really concerned. And I was like, Hayden Christensen can't let me live a day in peace.
Hmm.
There's no peace with him. He chooses violence daily,
Every
and
time.
he
Yeah.
again is just very confused. And I was like, he wore a custom Cubs City Connect jersey, which I like those City Connects.
I do
I thought they
too.
were neat.
Yeah.
Um, I was like, he wore a custom jersey with number 66 on the back of it. And it took him a second. And I was like, execute orders number 66. And he
Hmm.
was like, oh, that's right. And he was like, I married the weirdest person in the world. That's right.
He knows
That's
what
right.
he signed up for.
I already had the Star Wars half sleeve
Exactly.
when we met.
When you met. Yeah.
Um, Vader was, I think, one of the last pieces. He was done like a month after we met,
Hmm.
like in real life. He knew. He
Yeah.
knew what he was getting himself into.
Exactly.
I don't think he realized how deep it truly ran, and that Hayden Christensen does control a big chunk of my life.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
No, I saw that and I was like, well, that was quite the choice. And he very much, I saw the flyover and I thought that's what you were originally going to go with because he was all about just watching everyone get terrified by that.
Just him laughing,
Yeah.
the maniacal
The
laugh during the seventh
maniacal
inning
laugh of,
stretch
yeah, exactly.
after this flyover, where
Hmm.
like players are like taking cover in the dugout, thinking they're like being attacked.
Yeah.
Like, do you think maybe Hayden Christensen just arranged for that to happen? Do you think he's just,
I think he knew it was happening, and that's why I was surprised that so many people were freaked out by it because like that was a very low flyover. Like
his
I have
daughter was
seen
chill?
many an air and water show that was low. And so that was definitely a hey, it would be pretty cool if you did this, especially timing it right during the seventh inning stretch. Yeah.
Yeah. His daughter was way too chill
Yeah.
for like the entire ballpark to be freaked out, but then him and
But
his
him
daughter up there
being
just like
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Um, well, that's what I have for you. This is always a blast when I get to actually talk to you.
Likewise.
Do you have anything that you would like to say? to my 7 listeners.
I am very weirdly optimistic about how the rest of this season is going to go. I think it is going to introduce um a very fun, silly season going into the
Mhm.
off season where White Sox fans are feeling really optimistic and bold about where the team is headed.
So you're
Which is
saying the
fine.
parade is on.
It is. Yeah, I'm all for it, but I just want everyone to remember it was not that long ago that we were doing this.
No, no. Like I was just looking at something recently. I follow all, well, I don't even follow them, but like on my Instagram, I see a bunch of like weird baseball accounts, and they were
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
"Oh, there was a time when," and it was like your mean Mercedes. It was like, I
Mm-hmm.
remember your mean Mercedes, or like I remember 2018 Daniel Palka, and I was
Yep.
like, but I do, I was there. Like I do
Yep.
remember these things, and I remember, what hope felt
Mm-hmm.
like briefly in like 2021.
Yeah.
But anyway, I can't wait to end the 2026 season thinking they're going to be contenders and then a lockout happens in 2027. Can't
It'll
wait for
be
that.
1994 all over again.
What if Jerry causes the
And that's
2027
exactly
lockout
what I'm
again?
saying. Yeah.
Like,
Colson
that's,
Montgomery will be putting up like MVP numbers, and then it's like, all right, lockout.
I can't wait. I just, it's gonna happen. Also, happy anniversary of 1 year of being eliminated from the 2024 playoff contention for the White
Oh,
Sox
yeah. Yeah.
on the day of recording, Sunday, August
August
17th.
17th.
Exactly
That's
1 year
right. Yeah.
we were officially eliminated. Wow, memories. All right, follow Tommy on Blue Sky if you don't already. He's
Please do.
wonderful.
And
Um,
thank you again for having me. This has been great.
yeah, always. All right. We'll talk offline and I'll continue to send you dumb baseball TikToks.
I'll do the same.
Cool. All right. Bye.